Put our hands together to welcome Honorable Minister Ma'am. Her presence today marks a significant milestone in India's journey towards a robust, transparent tax adjudication framework. We welcome Honorable Union Minister of Finance, Government of India, onto the stage. Namaskar and good evening. Honorable Chief Guest, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji, Honorable Union Minister for Finance and Corporate Affairs, Government of India, Shri Pankaj Chaudhary ji, Honorable Union Minister of State for Finance, Shri Justice Retired Sanjay Kumar Mishra ji, President GSTAT, Shri Rao Narbir Singh ji, Honorable Minister for Industry and Environment and Forest Department, Government of Haryana, esteemed guests, respected members of the GST Council, senior officers from Department of Revenue, state and central GST formations, respected members of the legal fraternity, representatives of trade and industry, members of the press and media, ladies and gentlemen. It is with immense pride and purpose that we welcome you all to the formal launch of the GST Appellate Tribunal, an institution envisioned to uphold the principles of fairness, efficiency and transparency in India's indirect tax adjudication system. This evening's ceremony holds special significance, coming just days after the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, addressed the nation to announce the rollout of the next generation GST reforms. Effective from the first day of Navratri, the revised GST structure has been hailed as a GST Bachat Utsav, a savings festival for every Indian household. In the spirit of reform and renewal, the establishment of GST Appellate Tribunal stands as a complementary pillar, ensuring that justice in tax matters is not only accessible but also timely and equitable. It reflects the government's unwavering commitment to strengthening institutional frameworks and deepening trust between the state and its citizens. And today, as we mark the launch of the GST Appellate Tribunal, GSTAT, the distinguished presence of Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji, Honorable Union Minister for Finance and Corporate Affairs, Government of India, adds immense significance to this historic step in strengthening the GST framework. Srimati Sitharaman ji is one of India's most respected leaders, known for her steadfast vision, policy acumen and commitment to strengthening India's economic architecture. She has served in multiple key portfolios, including defense, and is currently steering the nation's financial and corporate affairs at a time of transformative growth. Under her leadership, the Ministry of Finance has taken several bold and reform-oriented steps to ensure transparency, ease of doing business, fiscal stability, and inclusive development. Her stewardship of India's GST reforms, corporate governance, and digital financial transformation has been widely recognized both nationally and globally. I now request Shri Divakar Nath Mishra ji, Additional Secretary, Department of Revenue, to kindly do the honors of welcoming and honoring Honorable Finance Minister with a potted plant. A very, very warm welcome to you, ma'am. Let's put our hands together to welcome Honorable Chief Guest. We request you, sir, to do the honors of welcoming Shri Pankaj Chaudhary ji, Honorable Union Minister of State for Finance, with a potted plant. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Request you, sir, to welcome Shri Justice Retired Sanjay Kumar Mishra ji, President GSTAT, with a potted plant.
सर जी वेलकम करेंगे तो है ना आ गए बस ठीक है.
We request you, sir, to kindly welcome Shri Rao Narbir Singh Ji, Honorable Minister for Industry and Environment and Forest Department, Government of Haryana. Ladies and gentlemen, to invoke divine blessings and mark the auspicious beginning of today's ceremony, we now invoke Goddess Saraswati with the ceremonial lamp lighting. May I request the honorable ministers and distinguished dignitaries to kindly do the honors of lighting the ceremonial lamp, a symbol of knowledge, purity, and enlightenment.
तुषारहार धवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या तुषारहार धवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्कर प्रभृतिभिर्देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती.
Ladies and gentlemen, we also welcome on stage Shri Arvind Srivastavaji, the respected Secretary Revenue. Thank you very much indeed, ma'am, for doing the honors. To formally commence the proceedings, may I now invite the respected Revenue Secretary, Ministry of Finance, Government of India, Shri Arvind Srivastavaji, to deliver the welcome address. Let's put our hands together to welcome sir.
Honorable Union Finance Minister, Madam Nirmala Sitharaman ji, Honorable Minister of State for Finance, Shri Pankaj Chaudhary ji, Honorable President of GSTAT, Justice Shri Sanjay Kumar Mishra ji, Honorable Finance Ministers from states, Honorable Members of the GSTAT, Honorable Presidents of various tribunals, Chairman and members of CBIC, Chairman of CBDT, esteemed colleagues from the center and state governments, members of the judicial and legal fraternity, distinguished professionals, representatives from trade and industry, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome all of you to this important milestone in this successful journey of GST, the formal launch of Goods and Services Tax Appellate Tribunal. At the outset, I extend a very warm welcome to Honorable Union Finance Minister and the Chairperson of the GST Council, whose vision and leadership has steered every milestone of GST reform. Under her stewardship, GST has matured into a system that reflects simplicity, stability, and fairness for the taxpayers, and at the same time that supports growth aspirations of our country. I also warmly welcome Honorable Minister of State for Finance, whose support has been invaluable in ways more than one. I extend my hearty welcome to the Honorable Finance Ministers of the states, members of the GST Council, whose presence here symbolizes the strength of cooperative federalism, the cornerstone of GST. We are equally honored by the presence of officers from the center and states, retired judges, senior advocates, chartered accountants and other professionals, the representatives from Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, national and regional chambers of commerce and trade bodies are also with us today, reflecting the broad partnership of stakeholders that has made GST a success. Friends, operationalizing GSTAT comes at a critical juncture in the journey of GST. As the system matures, with meteoric rise in taxpayers and transactions, the differences are natural. While GST Council has endeavored to clarify many complex issues from time to time, a formal appellate body will allow equitable opportunity to all the sides to present their standpoint and enable settlement of such issues in an acceptable and stable manner. The tribunal will provide a specialized nationwide forum that can bring consistency in interpretation, predictability in outcomes, and credibility to the appellate process. This is vital for strengthening the trust between taxpayers and the tax administration. The design of GSTAT reflects three core dimensions: the three S's: structure, scale, and synergy. Its structure combines judicial and technical expertise to deliver fair decisions. Its scale, with state benches and possibility of single-member benches for simpler matters, ensures reach and efficiency. And its synergy between technology, process, and human expertise will allow it to deliver justice with both speed and quality. The Department of Revenue, in partnership with GSTN and NIC, has developed a digital platform that will anchor the work of GSTAT from its very start. E-filing, case management tools, and electronic court modules will make proceedings smoother and more transparent, setting new benchmarks for the functioning of a tribunal in our country. On the behalf of Department of Revenue, I once again welcome all the honorable dignitaries, stakeholders, and professionals who have joined us today. Your presence is a reminder that GST institutions are built not just by government, but are enabled by collective effort of everyone who is represented here today. Thank you very much, and Jai Hind.
Thank you very much indeed, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to have amidst us the august presence of Shri Justice Sanjay Kumar Mishra ji, President of the Goods and Services Tax Appellate Tribunal GSTAT. Justice Mishra has had a distinguished judicial career, serving with integrity and wisdom across various high courts of the country. He held the position of the Chief Justice of the Jharkhand High Court and has delivered landmark judgments during his tenure. As the very first president of GSTAT, he brings not only judicial authority...
Thank you, ma'am. That's all. Very kind of you.
So let's put our hands together to welcome sir.
Jagannath Swami, Nayana Pathagami Bhavatume. Honorable Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji, Finance Minister of India. Honorable Sri Pankaj Chaudhary ji, Union Minister for State for Finance. Honorable Mr. Rao Narveen Singh, Sri Arvind Srivastav, Learned Revenue Secretary. My elder brothers, Justice Munishwar Nath Bhandari, Justice Dilip Gupta, Chairman of Shafema and GSTAT, respectively. My sister and brother, members of the Goods and Services Tax Appellate Tribunal, distinguished guests, senior advocates, tax professionals, and members of the press. Ladies and gentlemen, today actually is a very historic day. You are watching and being part of a historic process. Like in 1941, the first tribunal was established in India, that is Income Tax Appellate Tribunal. And still we remember the work of the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal. And we hope that maybe after 80, 90 years, somebody else will recognize our work as the GST Tribunal and the work that we have done. The concept of tribunal as opposed to the regular court or common law courts was to provide a specialized, speedier, less formal adjudication in areas where regular courts were considered too rigid technically or overburdened. It is actually a concept that started in the later part of the 19th century and early part of the 20th century. The first tribunal that was formed in the modern world is in the year 1873. That is the United Kingdom Railways and Canal Commission. Later on in 1957, the French committee report was accepted by the United Kingdom and the tribunal started functioning there. But even before that in India, in the pre-independence area, 1941 was the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal was formed. But by virtue of the 42nd Amendment to the Constitution of India, which added Article 323A, 323B, which empowered the legislature to create tribunals for adjudicating various matters like public services, taxation, industrial dispute. And the basic purpose behind such setting of tribunals were to reduce the load on the regular courts, provide specialized justice on the basis of technical knowledge and expertise, ensure quicker and less formal adjudication, and balance between the administrative efficiency and judicial review. The role of the GST in justice delivery cannot be overstated in view of the complex nature of the law. The GST regime itself started in 1st of July 2017 is a monumental reform. It unified India into one common market and removed multiple cascading tax and simplified compliance for millions. But with any new law or any transformative law, there are differences in interpretation and applications. So now, this will be not only the largest tribunal in the country, having more than 116 members, 32 benches, 45 locations, and the most important, it will be having a pendency of more than 4 lakhs cases perhaps from the day one. What we hear from our brothers from the GST and NIC that a total more than 5.8 lakhs cases has been filed in the first appellate authority, before the first appellate authority, out of which 1.3 lakhs perhaps are pending still. I'm just speaking in an approximate figure, not the exact figure. So there has been a disposal of about 4 lakhs 80,000 cases, and we expect a huge workload right from the beginning. And not only it will be a new law, a new tribunal with a lot of challenges, a very, very big expectation from the entire nation, including Madam Finance Minister. Madam Finance Minister, I assure the Union of India as well as the dignitaries present here that my sister and brother judges, brother members of the GSTAT and myself are deeply aware of the challenges that we will be facing right from the beginning. And we also know that the GSTAT has been given the function of being an institutional guardian to ensure fairness and justice, not only to the taxpayer or the assessees, but also to the revenue. We have to strike a balance between both the stakeholders. This huge backlog that we will be facing will be tackled by us by putting priority on urgent matters that affect systematic certainty. Those cases, we have to find out a mechanism. I think it will evolve during course of our training in Nasir, Pala Samudra, how we can identify the cases which will dispose of many cases on question of law. And then there is another issue that perhaps 90% of the cases that will be filed before the GSTAT will be single bench cases, in the single sitting cases, in the sense that it will not involve a complicated question of law or a question of law, and it is less than 50 lakhs rupees tax burden. So that will come before a single bench. And for that, we have to develop the infrastructure in the appropriate manner so that all the members of a bench, be it the principal bench or the state bench, can hold simultaneously 4 different court proceedings and take up cases, and for which we need infrastructure and institutional support also. With the partnership of with the Government of India, I think we can achieve that goal. One very important thing that has come to our knowledge, and we have tackled it also, is the perceived or the stateable reality that the new system that is the portal that has been developed may perhaps face a glut at the time of the first opening. So on the request of the GST and NIC team, and also on the nudging of the Department of Revenue, the GSTAT has taken a conscious decision and has passed an order. Today, in fact, today itself I have signed the order by the principal bench that we have decided to stagger the filing of the second appeals. As I said, that this staggering is necessary only for the purpose of ensuring that there is no stampede of cases or there is no glut of the cases resulting in difficulty for both the system as well as for the taxpayer. And in this connection, I like to put across this message that the Government of India as well as the GSTAT has taken care on consultation on different levels that there is sufficient buffer time between the opening of the portal and the date of limitation. As is all of you aware, the 1st April 2026 has been declared as the date of starting of limitation under subsection 2 of section 112 of this Central Goods and Services Tax Act. And the staggering, not only we have taken care that there is a buffer time between the actual starting of limitation and the opening of the portal, but also it is this staggering do not affect in any way the limitation that is envisaged under subsection 6 of section 112 of the CGST Act. This is a thing which all the members also should remember, not only the tax professionals should remember. We should not interpret the staggering and the notification that is issued by the Government of India in saying that no, after 30/6/2026, no case can be filed, which relates to the period before 1st of April 2026. In fact, the condonation of delay, that 45 days, it is still there in appropriate cases. I'm not saying that in all cases you give 45 days of condonation of delay. In appropriate cases it should be given. So the putting priority, staggering, then giving effect to this single bench hearings, and developing the technology as a force multiplier will perhaps be the most important steps the GSTAT can take in a collective manner to face this staggering, the what do you call, gigantic backlog that has already pending before us to be addressed in the judicial side. The infrastructure and institutional need also is very necessary for meeting the responsibility of the GSTAT. But at present, as things stand, I think the partnership of the Union of India, or as popularly known as Government of India, is most important aspect of setting up a new tribunal. I must record my deep appreciation for the government's cooperation and responsiveness in establishing the GSTAT, for approving the institutional framework to supporting digital infrastructure. The Government of India has shown remarkable commitment in building a tribunal worthy of the nation's trust. The work ahead is vast, and I am confident this cooperation will continue, for it is the shared interest of the state, the taxpayer, and the judiciary that the GSTAT succeeds. Together we are creating not just a tribunal, but a landmark in the India's justice delivery architect. Looking ahead, me and my team has sat down and we are working with the acronym GSTAT. As everybody knows, Goods and Services Taxes Appellate Tribunal, GSTAT. But we found out that there is a better meaning to that, of course, for motivational purposes also. This G stands for growth with justice, ensuring the adjudication strengthens economic growth while upholding fairness. S stands for speed, justice delivered with timeliness, simplicity, and accessibility, so that every litigant experiences the system as fair and efficient. T, transparency, building trust by ensuring clarity, openness, and fairness in all proceedings. A, accountability, upholding the highest standards of responsibility, independence, and judicial integrity. And T, technology driven by justice, harnessing the GST NIC e-court portal and digital case management tools to ensure justice that is efficient, transparent, and future ready. GSTAT to a common man is a goods and services tax appellate tribunal for my brother and sister who are members of the GSTAT, both in the principal bench as well as in the state bench. I think this growth with justice, speed, transparency, accountability, technology-driven justice is the true meaning of GSTAT, and hope these 5 guiding principles will shape the character of the GSTAT and ensure that it becomes an institution worthy of trust reposed on it. Before parting, I must say that there has been a tendency of late. I have been in public service for 25 years. There have been a trend among persons who are given the authority to decide both in the judicial or I say quasi-judicial or administrative side, that it is better to err on the safe side than pass a appropriate order. I think that attitude we have to give up, because if we uphold dharma or justice, then justice itself will protect us. And let us remind ourselves once again of the wisdom of our ancestors. Dharmo rakhyati rakhyatah. Those who protect justice are themselves protected by justice. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable address and for sharing your vision for GSTAT. Your guidance will truly inspire this institution in the years ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, Honorable guest, Shri Pankaj Chaudhary ji, Honorable Union Minister of State for Finance, Government of India, has been instrumental in shaping policies related to revenue, taxation and financial inclusions. In his current role as Honorable Minister of State for Finance, he continues to contribute actively to India's economic reforms. And it is my honor to request Honorable Minister, sir, to kindly address the gathering. Let's put our hands together to welcome sir.
माननीय वित्त एवं कॉर्पोरेट कार्य मंत्री आदरणीय श्रीमती निर्मला सीतारमन जी, माननीय मंत्री हरियाणा श्री राव नरवीर सिंह जी, जीएसटी अपीलीय न्यायाधिकरण के माननीय अध्यक्ष श्री संजय कुमार मिश्रा जी, राजस्व सचिव श्री अरविंद श्रीवास्तव जी, यहाँ उपस्थित सभी सम्मानित अतिथिगण, सभी को मेरा नमस्कार। जीएसटी अपीलीय न्यायाधिकरण के लॉन्च में भाग लेते हुए मुझे बड़ी ही प्रसन्नता हो रही है। ये केवल एक नई संस्था का निर्माण नहीं, बल्कि उन सुधारों को और गहन बनाना है जिन्हें माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी निरंतर समर्थन करते रहे। इन सुधारों का उद्देश्य शासन को अधिक पारदर्शी बनाना, नागरिकों को सशक्त करना और व्यवसायों को सुदृढ़ करना है। जब माननीय प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी ने दूरदर्शी नेतृत्व में वर्ष 2017 में जीएसटी लागू किया था, तो यह केवल एक सुधार नहीं था, ये राष्ट्र निर्माण की ओर एक कदम था। पहली बार भारत सचमुच एक राष्ट्र, एक कर, एक बाजार बना। पिछले कई वर्षों से माननीय वित्त मंत्री निर्मला सीतारमन जी की ओर और जीएसटी परिषद के मार्गदर्शन में सरकार ने इस प्रणाली को बेहतर बनाने, इसे अधिक सरल, निष्पक्ष और प्रौद्योगिकी संचालित बनाने के लिए अथक प्रयास किया है। मोदी जी का जो मंत्र है, मिनिमम गवर्नमेंट मैक्सिमम गवर्नेंस, से प्रेरित होकर हम जटिल व्यवस्था से स्पष्ट एवं पारदर्शी व्यवस्था की ओर बढ़ रहे हैं। इस यात्रा के केंद्र में प्रौद्योगिकी रही है। रिटर्न फाइलिंग का और इनवॉइसिंग और ऑनलाइन रिफंड जैसे डिजिटल सिस्टम ने न केवल करदाताओं का बोझ कम किया है, बल्कि सरकार और जनता के बीच विश्वास को भी सुदृढ़ किया है। इसके परिणाम स्पष्ट हैं। इससे अनुपालन सुगम हुआ है और व्यवस्था में विश्वास बढ़ा है। जीएसटी अपीलीय न्यायाधिकरण का शुभारंभ इस यात्रा का एक स्वाभाविक विस्तार है, ताकि विवादों का निपटारा सरल और सुलभ हो सके। ये विवादों का समाधान के लिए एक समान, पारदर्शी और विश्वसनीय मंच प्रदान करेगा। ये विलंब को कम करेगा, देश भर में एकरूपता आएगी और ये सुनिश्चित करेगा कि बड़े और छोटे सभी प्रकार के करदाताओं को न्याय के लिए लंबे समय तक इंतजार नहीं करना पड़ेगा। इससे भी महत्वपूर्ण बात यह है कि यह सुधार केवल संख्याओं या प्रक्रियाओं से संबंधित नहीं है, ये जनता से संबंधित है। आम नागरिक के लिए जीएसटी का अर्थ है सरल कराधान और उचित मूल्य। छोटे व्यवसायों के लिए इसका अर्थ है कम कागजी कार्रवाई और विकास पर ध्यान केंद्रित करने के लिए अधिक समय। स्टार्टअप और उद्यमियों के लिए इसका अर्थ है जटिल कर संरचना से बाधित हुए बिना बड़े सपने देखने के स्वतंत्रता, और हमारी अर्थव्यवस्था के लिए समग्र रूप से इसका प्रभाव होगा। व्यापार में तेजी, मजबूत उद्योग और एक अधिक प्रतिस्पर्धी भारत बनेगा। कोई भी कर प्रणाली निष्पक्ष और प्रभावी विवाद समाधान तंत्र के बिना अधूरी है। सर्वोत्तम प्रणालियों में भी असहमतियां उत्पन्न हो सकती हैं। ये असहमतियां कानून की व्याख्या, प्रक्रिया या कर निर्धारण से संबंधित हो सकती हैं। यदि ये विवाद अनसुलझे रह जाते हैं तो वे अनिश्चितता पैदा करते हैं, निवेश को बाधित करते हैं और करदाता तथा राज्य के बीच विश्वास को कमजोर करते हैं। एक मजबूत अपीलीय तंत्र ये विश्वास दिलाता है कि न्याय शीघ्र और निष्पक्ष रूप से होगा। ये बड़े और छोटे व्यवसायों को आश्वस्त करता है कि लिटिगेशंस बहुत लंबा नहीं चलेगा। ये निवेशों को स्पष्ट करता है कि भारत केवल एक बड़ा बाजार ही नहीं, बल्कि एक विश्वसनीय और निष्पक्ष बाजार भी है। सबसे महत्वपूर्ण बात यह है कि ये नागरिक और सरकार के बीच विश्वास के संबंध को मजबूत करता है। मित्रों, आज भारत को पूरी दुनिया में एक उभरती हुई आर्थिक शक्ति के रूप में देखा जा रहा है। ये विश्वास हाल के वर्षों में मोदी सरकार द्वारा किए गए सुधारों से आया है। ये सुधार साहसिक, समावेशी और दूरदर्शी है। जीएसटी अपीलीय व्यवस्था की शुरुआत के साथ हम प्रत्येक करदाता को आश्वस्त कर रहे हैं कि आपकी आवाज़ सुनी जाएगी, आपके अधिकारों की रक्षा की जाएगी और न्याय में देरी नहीं होगी। इसी तरह जीएसटी को केवल एक अच्छा और सरल कर ही नहीं, बल्कि एक नए भारत के लिए एक निष्पक्ष और विश्वसनीय कर प्रणाली भी बनाते हैं। इन सुधारों को आकार देने और उसका मार्गदर्शन करने में जीएसटी परिषद और उसके माननीय सदस्यों की भूमिका अत्यंत महत्वपूर्ण रही है। परिषद ने सहकारी संघवाद की भावना से निरंतर कार्य किया है, ताकि ये सुनिश्चित किया जा सके कि जीएसटी एक ऐसी प्रणाली के रूप में विकसित हो जो राष्ट्रीय प्राथमिकताओं और राज्यों और नागरिकों की आवश्यकताओं के बीच संतुलन स्थापित करे। माननीय वित्त मंत्री आदरणीय श्रीमती निर्मला सीतारमण जी के नेतृत्व में परिषद ने साहसिक निर्णय लिए, जिनसे दरों को सरल बनाया गया है, कर आधार का विस्तार किया गया और सर्वसम्मति व स्पष्टता के साथ मुद्दों का समाधान किया गया। जीएसटी अपीलीय न्यायाधिकरण का संचालन इसी दिशा में एक और कदम है। मैं सभी हितधारकों को अपनी शुभकामना देता हूं और इस संस्था को साकार करने के लिए अथक परिश्रम करने वाले सभी लोगों को बधाई देता हूं। मैं पिछले कुछ महीनों में हुई तीव्र प्रगति के लिए माननीय अध्यक्ष जी का विशेष रूप से आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। ये आवश्यक है कि हम इसी उत्साह और समर्पण के साथ इस यात्रा को जारी रखें। जीएसटी अपीलीय न्यायाधिकरण के माननीय सदस्यों को, जिन्होंने हाल ही में कार्यभार संभाला है, अपनी हार्दिक शुभकामना देता हूं। मेरा विश्वास है और मैं कामना करता हूं कि वे बिना किसी भय या पक्षपात के अपने पद के कर्तव्यों का निर्वहन करेंगे और न्याय प्रदान करेंगे। मैं राजस्व विभाग के प्रत्येक अधिकारी और कर्मचारियों के प्रति भी अपनी गहरी कृतज्ञता व्यक्त करता हूं, जिन्होंने जीएसटी अपीलीय न्यायाधिकरण के संचालन के लिए अथक परिश्रम किया है। इतने विशाल संस्था का निर्माण करना कोई आसान काम नहीं है और उनकी प्रतिबद्धता सबसे अधिक सराहनीय है। इस उपलब्धि पर पहुंचने के साथ ये जरूरी है कि टीम इसी भावना के साथ इस संस्था को उसको तार्किक परिणति तक ले जाए। समर्पण, निष्पक्षता और दृढ़ संकल्प के साथ जीएसटी अपील न्यायाधिकरण न केवल विवादों का समाधान करेगा बल्कि हमारी कर प्रणाली में विश्वास और न्याय की नींव को भी मजबूत करेगा। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
माननीय मंत्री महोदय जी का हार्दिक धन्यवाद। आपके मार्गदर्शन और प्रेरणात्मक संदेश के लिए आपका तहे दिल से आभार। Ladies and gentlemen, as we celebrate the historic launch of the Goods and Services Tax Appellate Tribunal, we reflect on the context in which the key pillar of GST reforms is important. We now present a specially curated video showcasing the journey of GST so far and highlighting the vision of the Honorable Prime Minister and Honorable Finance Minister for the next generation of GST reforms.
8 years ago, India embarked on a historic economic journey, unifying a complex web of indirect taxes into a single, streamlined system. This was the dawn of the Goods and Services Tax, a promise of simplification, transparency, and economic integration. Today, we look back at the incredible growth and increasing efficiency of this transformative reform. The success of GST is not just a story, it is in the numbers. The taxpayer base surged from 63.95 lakh in July 2017 to over 1.51 crore by March 2025, reflecting GST's widespread acceptance and transformative impact on India's economy. Total GST collection grew from 11,77,000 crore in financial year 2018-19 to more than 22 lakh crore in financial year 2024-25. GST's greatest achievement lies in the unification of Indian trade into a single market by breaking state barriers and bringing a digital-first system. It turned complexity into simplification. This change has earned wide acceptance, empowering business of every size to grow in a transparent and predictable environment. 8 years on, GST stands as a pillar of India's economic architecture, driving growth, enhancing efficiency, and simplifying business for millions.
पिछले 8 साल से हमने जीएसटी का बहुत बड़ा रिफॉर्म किया। पूरे देश में टैक्स के बर्डन को कम किया, टैक्स की व्यवस्थाओं को सरल किया और 8 साल के बाद समय की मांग है कि हम एक बार उसको रिव्यू करें। हमने एक हाई पावर कमेटी को बिठा करके रिव्यू शुरू किया, राज्यों से भी विचार विमर्श किया और मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, हम नेक्स्ट जनरेशन जीएसटी रिफॉर्म्स लेकर के आ रहे हैं। ये दिवाली के अंदर आपके लिए तोहफा बन जाएंगे। सामान्य मानवीय की जरूरतों के टैक्स भारी मात्रा में कम कर दिए जाएंगे।
Essential products, food items, and medicines used by common man has come down to either 0 or 5% GST rate. Health insurance for personal use has been fully exempted from GST. GST rates for the aspirational items of neo-middle class has been reduced from 28% to 18%. Next-gen GST reforms has a holistic and comprehensive approach.
This reform is not just on rationalizing rates. It's also on structural reforms. It's also on ease of living, so that businesses can do their business of working together with the GST with a great ease.
These next-gen GST reforms will ensure transformation of Indian economy and achieve goals of Viksit Bharat 2047.
ये रिफॉर्म भारत की ग्रोथ स्टोरी को एक्सेलरेट करेंगे, कारोबार को और आसान बनाएंगे, निवेश को और आकर्षक बनाएंगे और हर राज्य को विकास की दौड़ में बराबरी का साथी बनाएंगे।
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, now it is my proud privilege to request the Honorable Union Minister for Finance and Corporate Affairs, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji, to kindly formally launch the GST Appellate Tribunal and its e-filing portal and dedicate the same to the nation. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, on the formal launch of GST Appellate Tribunal by the Honorable Finance Minister. Thank you, ma'am, for this momentous launch. With your visionary leadership, GSTAT will stand as a pillar of justice, efficiency, and trust in India's taxation system. And to provide us with a deeper insight about the vision, mandate, and the role of GSTAT in strengthening India's tax governance system, we now present a short video on GSTAT and about the e-filing portal.
Welcome to the future of GST dispute resolution. Goods and Services Tax Appellate Tribunal GSTAT. The GSTAT is the appellate authority established under the Central Goods and Services Tax Act 2017 to hear various appeals under the SAD Act and the respective state or union territories GST Acts against the orders of the first appellate authority. It consists of a principal bench and various state benches. As per the approval of the GST Council, the government has notified the principal bench to be located at New Delhi and 31 state benches at various locations across the country. Process for appointment of judicial and technical members is largely completed. In addition to handling GST-related cases, GSTAT will also be handling cases as the National Appellate Authority for Advance Ruling under GST. The tribunal will ensure swift, fair, judicious and effective resolution to GST disputes, besides significantly reducing the burden on higher courts. GST Appellate Tribunal's digital portal. 24/7 access. Your case data is secure, reliable and available to you around the clock. Efficiency redefined. Experience a system that is accurate, effective and eliminates repetitive data entry. Speedy communication. Get faster updates and share information instantly with all stakeholders. Total transparency. Gain enhanced visibility into all processes from the filing stage to resource management. User-centric design. The entire platform is designed to be an intuitive, dynamic and efficient experience for the user. A platform designed to make taxpayers' appeal process simple, transparent and efficient. Let's take a quick run through of its key features. There is seamless registration process for taxpayers, tax officers, legal representatives. After registration, the user can log in and complete the task as directed step by step from appeal filing, application filing, cross-objection filing, upload additional document. The GSTAT portal is open from today and all stakeholders may refer to the GSTAT website for the detailed explanation of the process involved. We invite all stakeholders, taxpayers, tax officers, legal representatives to log in and experience the new era of GST adjudication.
Thank you very much indeed. And ladies and gentlemen, it is now my proud privilege to invite the Honorable Union Minister for Finance and Corporate Affairs, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji, to kindly address the August House. and share her vision on GSTAT. Let's put our hands together in a resounding applause to welcome the Honorable Finance Minister.
Namaskar and good evening to the August gathering. Honorable Minister of State for Finance, Shri Pankaj Chaudhary ji, Honorable President of the GSTAT, Justice Sanjay Kumar Mishra ji, Honorable Ministers from the state and my colleagues in the GST Council, Revenue Secretary, officers of the Department of Revenue, state and central GST formations, members of the legal fraternity, and representatives of the trade and industry, and of course the media. It gives me immense pleasure to join you all today on the special occasion of the launching of the GST Appellate Tribunal, or the GSTAT. This is just not an institutional milestone, but it is a symbol of how the GST has come in the last 8 years, and it is also a powerful reminder of our determination to continue improving, reforming, and also adapting it for the future. When the GST was introduced in 2017, under the visionary leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister, it was with an intention of having one nation, one tax, and one market. A fragmented and complicated web of indirect taxes gave way to a seamless common market. And the guiding idea was unity in policy, unity in compliance, and unity in economic purpose. Since then, the GST Council, working with states and union territories, has refined and strengthened this system. GST has grown as a reliable revenue source, widened the tax base, and ensured more formalization and becoming a foundation for India's growth story. Reform is a continuous process, and you'll agree that the GST must involve, and it is evolving around the principle of simplicity and ease of living. From the ramparts of the Red Fort, about which my honorable colleague referred, and also the earlier speakers have referred, that the Honorable Prime Minister announced that the next generation of GST reforms will be launched well before Deepavali. I thank the GST Council members, literally every one of them, the ministers from the various states, sat through the whole day, went through the next generation reforms that were proposed. It was earlier discussed in the 3 group of ministers as well, and then took a call that it is the need of the hour, it has to benefit the common people, and as a result we had the next generation reforms being cleared by the GST Council. I repeat, I thank every one of the members of the GST Council for having taken this a very forward-looking step on that one day. Guided by a slogan, but also a creed, which the Honorable Prime Minister mentioned, on the eve of the GST next generation reforms being introduced. 22nd September, a few days ago when it was launched, but the evening before, we had the Prime Minister speak, and he used a very endearing slogan, I think, which will run in all our consciousness, Nagrik Devo Bhava. We have always heard, and we believe in, as India, we believe in Atiti Devo Bhava. But here, for a policy maker who called himself as the first servant of the country, and not so much the Prime Minister himself, he put the citizen at the center of policy making, and therefore, in the context of the next GST reforms, he said, Nagrik Devo Bhava. And we are moving with a citizen-first lens that values time, clarity, and also savings. So the next GST reforms, or the next gen GST, is actually delivering exactly that. And that the outcome of this festival season is now nationwide being referred to as GST Bachat Utsav, and across the sectors and across everyday life. Only to refer to actually what is developed in the ground after the introduction of the new GST is you saw the automobile sector reflecting this momentum. Every early report in the media pointed to the unprecedented sales and bookings in the first 2-3 days of this Bachat Utsav. This surge is actually built on a decade of steady reforms. It is just announced to be implemented from 22nd September, but the policies which prompted deeper localization and steady economy, which aids capacity needed for scale, quality, and resilience. These capabilities are now power products of the world, with rising exports of vehicles and components. The foundation is ease of doing business, steady, practical tweaks being based on feedback. We simplified the procedures, digitized touch points, and set predictable timelines so that keeping the taxpayer and the consumer experience at the very center. The next generation GST, therefore, sits within the same approach. Rate rationalization, as was announced, simpler compliance, and clearer refund and ITC pathways. Together, these strengthen purchasing power of the people, business planning, and also reinforce the momentum behind the Bachat Utsav. This is where I think the GSTAT matters, which is getting launched today. Ease of living for taxpayers extend beyond filing and refunds. It includes fair, efficient, and dispute resolution. The GSTAT is a natural extension of this reform arm or reform arc, as you would like to say. It's an important advance for ease of doing business and a vital forum for justice. In simple terms, if I have to say this, when a taxpayer has a dispute, the first appeal lies, as was shown in that video presentation a minute ago. When a taxpayer has a dispute, the first appeal lies within the tax administration. But at the second level, whether the original order is from the center or a state, the appeal will now converge at a single independent forum, that is the GSTAT. So earlier you wouldn't have had this convenience. For the first time, therefore, central and state GST disputes meet on a common platform and are adjudicated together. That is the unique quality of the GSTAT for a nation which wanted to have one tax, one market. Now you also have one adjudicating body which is going to deliver justice for everybody, be it in the state or at the center. Earlier, states often differed in interpreting product classification or even the definition. We've had very many complications because of that, and the council would labor to say what kind of guidelines or what kind of clarifications will have to be issued, and this has been repeatedly an agenda point in every GST council meeting. So states often differed in interpreting product classifications and definitions. The GST council had to issue frequent clarifications, which resulted in unnecessary locking up of capital of businesses. This especially affected the small and the medium businesses and MSMEs, as we call them. With the GSTAT coming in now, center and states on board, we open a new era of predictable, specialized jurisprudence. This is cooperative federalism in action, and at its best providing a single, reliable appellate spine for the GST across the country. I actually think it's one of the strongest skeletal structure. The spine of the entire GST system is going to be provided by the GSTAT. So in the spirit of the Nagarik Devo Bhava, our focus for GSTAT must be clear. Jargon-free decisions in plain language, simplified formats and checklists, digital by default filings, and virtual hearings and time standards for listing, hearing, and for pronouncement. The outcome we seek is straightforward. Reduced legal frictions, greater simplicity, and delays in litigation addressed proactively. So cash flows move faster, MSMEs and exporters invest with confidence, and citizens feel the benefits of the system that we've already brought into place. However, the road to setting up GSTAT has not been easy. Let me confess this, it has not at all been easy. The journey has been long and it has been seeing very many challenges, delays, and even, I couldn't believe, but even setbacks. So setting up the GSTAT has had its own roller coaster ride. Building GSTAT has been a rigorous, consultative path of cooperative federalism, appropriate for an institution that will anchor GST jurisprudence for several decades. In 2019, and it is actually even in 2019 itself, benches of GSTAT were notified. But due to some legal issues, it was only in 2024 that the Honorable President of the GSTAT was appointed. We then began the process of selecting members and putting the infrastructure in place. That gave us a new structure, one principal bench in New Delhi and multiple state benches across the country with equal representation of technical members from the center and the states. It's absolutely unique, just as the GST is the one and only constitutional body since after independence of India. Here is an appellate or jurisprudence fountainhead, the GSTAT, coming to the rescue of the citizens in its own unique shape and size and contour. And importantly, the selection process itself is being directly monitored by the Honorable Supreme Court. So I think this has the best of everything that Indian jurisprudence can offer, best of everything that the judicial administration can offer, and best of everything that cooperative federalism can ask for. I'm confident that it is now the task of all the members to fulfill the faith reposed in them, being led by Honorable Sanjay Mishra, Justice Sanjay Mishra. From April 2026, the principal bench of the GSTAT will also act as the national appellate authority for advance rulings, providing businesses with clarity and ensuring consistency across states. This makes GSTAT not just a tribunal, it makes it a one-stop comprehensive forum for GST disputes, both before initiation and after initiation of the proceedings. We are also very encouraged, and we are ensuring that the GSTAT is supported by modern infrastructure, 31 states benches across 45 locations will make it truly accessible to taxpayers everywhere. Taxpayers will be able to file their appeals, track progress, and even attend hearings virtually. Justice will not only be fair and fast, but it will also be modern, transparent, and accessible to all. And here I must specify and specifically acknowledge the role of the GSTN and the NIC. Together, they have implemented the GSTAT portal for e-courts, which will be the backbone of this system. At this stage, therefore, let me speak directly to taxpayers, to trade bodies, and also to tax advisors. This forum is for you. And please, therefore, make full use of it. The limitation period for legacy appeals extends till 30th June 2026. Hearings are expected to commence by December this year. So prepare carefully, file peacefully, and take confidence in the fact that we have even enabled a staggering filing approach about which you've just heard Justice Mishra talk in greater detail. I think this will absolutely address concerns of anybody who thinks there's going to be a rush, a stampede, systems failing, and so on. No. A good thought has been applied. They are going to be done in a staggered fashion, and therefore there need not be any rush towards or haste towards all being there at one go. The operationalization of GSTAT is an important milestone, but more than that, it's a living example of how reforms in India evolve. So it is not a formulation which comes out of somebody's office and gets implemented, but it is something which has evolved with stakeholders putting their minds together, thoughts together. It demonstrates that reforms are not static. GSTAT itself has passed through multiple stages of evolution. It was tested in courts, refined in the council, strengthened in the parliament, and finally implemented for the benefit of the taxpayers and all citizens. So what began in 2017 as one nation, one tax, one market, now has also added one more, one nation, one forum for fairness and for certainty. Fairness and certainty. So I'm confident that under the guidance of the Honorable President and the members of the GSTAT, this forum will become a true symbol of justice for taxpayers, a pillar of trust for businesses, and also a catalyst for India's continued economic growth. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much indeed, Honorable Minister Ma'am, for your inspiring and visionary address. Your words have set the tone for GSTAT's journey ahead and will continue to guide this institution in serving the nation with efficiency, fairness, and transparency. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to express our gratitude to all the dignitaries, guests and contributors to this event, may I invite Shri Balasubramanian Krishnamurthy, Joint Secretary, Department of Revenue, to kindly propose the vote of thanks.
Honorable Union Finance Minister, Honorable Minister of State for Finance, Honorable President of GSTAT, Honorable Minister from Government of Haryana, distinguished dignitaries, senior colleagues from the center and the state governments, members of the legal fraternity, industry representatives and friends. It is my proud privilege to extend on behalf of Department of Revenue and on my own behalf a heartfelt vote of thanks. At the outset, I wish to place on record our deep sense of gratitude to the Honorable Union Finance Minister. Ma'am, your vision, determination and personal involvement have been central to the creation of GSTAT. The emphasis you have placed on transparency, taxpayer convenience and institutional efficiency has guided every step of this journey. Today's launch is a direct outcome of your leadership, and it will stand as a lasting reform in the history of GST. I also thank the Honorable Minister of State for Finance for his unstinting support and the Honorable President of GSTAT for sharing his vision for building a tribunal that will deliver justice with speed and fairness. A special gesture of gratitude from my side is also due to our own Revenue Secretary, whose firm guidance and steady leadership have been invaluable in steering the many processes that has brought us to this successful launch. I thank the Honorable Minister from Haryana for gracing this occasion and lending his support on behalf of the Government of Haryana and also on behalf of the GST Council. My thanks to the officers of the central and the state governments who are providing the most important support in terms of setting up the physical infrastructure in the 45 locations. We also thank the GSTN and NIC teams whose hard work has made both the tribunal and its digital platform a reality, ensuring that GSTAT begins its journey on a strong and technology-driven foundation. My special thanks to the Honorable Chairpersons of the tribunals, GSTAT and SAFEMA, for their presence here and for their support, and all other dignitaries who have graced this occasion this evening. We are equally grateful to the members of the legal fraternity, trade and industry representatives, and the media for their presence and goodwill today. With your continued cooperation and support, we are confident that GSTAT will grow into an institution that strengthens accessibility, timeliness, and trust in the justice delivery system. Thank you very much, and Jai Hind.
Thank you very much indeed, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, with that, we close the official proceedings of the launch. We invite all our distinguished guests to join us for dinner, but before that, I would also like to invite all the honorable members of the GST Appellate Tribunal to kindly assemble at the designated area for the formal group photograph with the Honorable Finance Minister. This moment would capture the collective spirit and vision of GSTAT, an institution poised to uphold justice, efficiency, and integrity in indirect tax governance. We would invite all our distinguished guests to join us for dinner in the main hall, and our dignitaries on the dais and all our very special invitees are requested to join us for dinner at the Oud restaurant. So thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen, for your gracious presence, and congratulations to each one of you for the successful launch of GSTAT. And with that, we close the proceedings of the launch ceremony. Wishing all of you a safe journey home, wonderful evening ahead,